And everybody, how's everyone doing today? The stream is just settling in. I apologize again. The computer is doing its best right now. Alright, so we shut a bunch of stuff down on the computer here, so it should start to settle in. So hopefully we can get the stream to bring us all the great action, nice and fluent here. So welcome in everybody. We got Madeline up in the house saying, buckle up boys and girls. Here we go. Everybody coming up in there saying, can't wait for this one. This is going to be a good race. So it is our GR2 series here from the Gran Turismo Racing community. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host for the afternoon, evening, GT45 Gaming. And we got a doozy for everybody here today. So we are at Spa. And Spa is a great racetrack. I love this track. It is very fun. It's a 60-minute endurance race here today. It is going to be the racing hard and the racing medium tires required for our drivers, and we are driving as a Group 2 class machinery, which means that they're going to be flying around Spa here today. We're going to see sub 2-minute laps here today for sure. Variable time is 3 times here, and the weather is random. So with that being said, rain is potential here at Spa this week, which could totally throw a wrench in the strategies of our racers. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. And in these Group 2 cars, that could get really dicey. It is 3 times tire wear and 3 times fuel consumption. So every time our ladies and gentlemen go around the racetrack for 1 lap, they're using 3 laps worth of fuel and 3 laps worth of tires. And racing hards and mediums are required, so we will see at least a minimum of 1 pit stop here today. However, this is a very mid to high speed circuit. I suspect that these cars are going to gobble up that racing fuel, and I think we're going to see more than 1 stop here today personally. But with that being said, we'll have to let the drivers show us that for themselves. So let's talk a little bit about our racetrack here before we get underway for qualifying. So Spa, such a beautiful racetrack, 4.53 miles, 7 kilometers long. It has 20 left and right hand turns. It's a tarmac surface. It is a real world circuit and has an elevation change of 341 feet from the highest point to the lowest point. This is a high speed technical circuit that has hosted everything from F1 to endurance races over the years. The long 7-kilometer plus track utilizes the mountainous environment. The track is praised by many racing drivers for being one of the most challenging in the world. And this track has a very interesting flow to it, and it really is all about the flow. And if you don't get the flow correct, then things are not going to go very well. And I need to make an adjustment on the sound before we get started, so bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to check my audio before I hit the go live button, so I got to open up a secondary app here to activate the transfer from the capture card to the streaming software, because I'm not using the right device for what I'm doing. So just bear with me here. The operation is a little Frankenstein together at the moment. Alright, it looks like we're going to be about ready to go on track here. Oh, we have game sound. We are good. Okay, never mind. We are good to go. Alright, with that being said, let's take it to the big screen here. Just got a weird little blip of audio in my head, in my earbuds. That shouldn't have happened. Things are about to get interesting. Alright, we're going to take it to the big screen here because we are just about getting ready to go through qualifying conditions here. So what'll happen is we'll see a double lobby reset. The drivers will go out, and I think we're only going to see probably 2 laps. 3 with the out lap from our drivers in qualifying here today as well. So you got to get it right very early on here in qualifying because you're only getting a couple attempts at it. So basically the first lap is to try and get your tires warmed up. The second lap is a safety lap, and if you get that third lap in, that is going to be their flying lap here. So as you can see, the lobby is being double reset right now. And once that all happens, we'll go on and follow with our drivers in qualifying here. So we have what appears to be 13 on our racetrack here today. And we just gotta wait for our drivers to check in. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. I know it is absolutely beautiful here where we're at in Western Canada. The sun is shining. The Aurora Borealis was absolutely beautiful and dancing in the sky last night. It's been a pretty good weekend so far. Alright. So we do have Doug Burrow out first on track here, and we will stick with Doug Burrow here as we run through our out lap. And while this is going on, I'm going to get the stream fixed up a little bit here, so just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be about a 2-minute out lap here, and then we will see these drivers send it. So it's going to be Doug Burrow, followed out by Hair Razor, followed out by Subi Marcus, our current championship points leader. We have Bar 27 out 4th. We have Dialful Racing out 5th, Tron out 6th. 7th now as Type R went around there and tapped out on track in 8th. And that's all we can see for the time being. So we're going to slowly but surely bring our dashboards back up on the PC here. Keep things moving here. So as we head in through campus here, we're starting to get set up for the Paul Frere curve. The Paul Frere curve. It's a little rusty, don't mind me, chat. And that'll take us, of course, into the run to Blanchard. So there we go. We're starting to get things working a little more fluently here. The computer is starting to feel happy. It's like, okay, we're streaming now, let's do this. So welcome in, everybody. We are up on our Facebook dashboard here now, so we can see everybody over on the Facebook channel. Slowly but surely, we'll get them up one at a time here. Alright, looks like everything is moving great here. So we are now officially start of qualifying here, so we're going to stick with this for a minute. And we'll deal with the behind the scenes stuff here in a few moments time when these guys are in that in between qualifying and race period of delay while they check the track for debris and just make sure everything's safe to go for the race conditions. So it is Doug Burrow out here now, and as we just head up our Luge and Lardion into the Camel Straight here, you can see Subi Marks gone around Hair Razor there as well, actually. Now a second out on track here, but as he heads into Lacombe here for the first time, and this is a triple set of S's leading into Brussels, a very sharp downhill, hard undulating hairpin corner. A little bit of a wiggle there as Doug exits out on the curbing there. So got to be careful with the curbs here at Spa. They're very slippery, and it looks like the weather has been a little bit changing here. So there we go, another huge slide there coming from Doug Burrow, and that's going to slow him down here a little bit as we head around in towards Pouan. And this is going to be full send. We're not going to see these drivers lift here. Oh, we are going to see just a little lift there from Doug Burrow. I'm really surprised, as the GR2 should hold this on medium tires. I would think full send, but these guys will know better than I do. I'm just a commentator, and I just want to see them full send it around Pouan. So now as we head back in towards campus and through campus here, this is the second set of S's here on the racetrack, which leads us in towards the entry for the Paul Frere curve. Setup here is very important. You got to get a clean exit coming out into the entry of Paul Frere, so you can hook up this apex just right to get a full speed send around there. You really do need to maximize the whole corner, plus a little bit extra as we've seen from Doug and Mark there in the background behind them. And that is to maximize the exit speed, maintain that momentum. So as we head up around through Blois-Chavon here, another full send corner. These drivers, as you can see, are at almost 180 miles per hour now, coming hard into the braking zone into the final chicane here. And let's see what Doug Burrow has here for our first hot qualifying lap around Spa today for round number 8. And it's going to be a 209. Subi Mark's going to take that away from them, so his Hair Razor going to move up into 3rd position here. We got Bar 27 coming through with Diaful just up in front there. Diaful is going to move up into 4th. Type R is going to move up into 5th place. We got Trone Kobe coming through here with Tap right in behind. Trone's going to move up into 6th. Tap's going to jump up into 4th place there. We've got Team Rad's Petrolhead here, 2nd in championship point standing, if I'm not mistaken, coming through here, and he is going to go up into 4th position here as he comes around his first lap. Pappy's going into pit lane. We've got Supra here coming around, and he is going to come across there in 8th position. And we got Mike 1972, our last driver through here, and he always likes to be the last guy out on track. Himself lots of open space, much like myself here when I'm qualifying as well when I am racing, so I can totally understand that. And it's going to be 5th place there for Mike. So it is 10-10 Subi Mark currently sitting here in pole position. Doug Burrow sitting in 3rd place, and Hair Razor in 2nd. These are our front 3 in the qualifying grid here as well. Good luck, GT Subi Mark, says Madeline. Alright, we're going to get the other dashboards up here in just a couple minutes time, ladies and gentlemen, so I can see all the comments coming through all our great platforms here. So we are live on the GT45 Gaming Facebook and YouTube channel. We are also live on the GTRC's YouTube channel. So if you're already on YouTube, do me a favor, if you're not following these guys, head over to the GTRC YouTube channel. Just type in at GTRC, and it should take you right there. Look for the great logo on the thumbnail. You'll know you're in the right place. I'll tell you exactly what it is as soon as I have the dashboard up. There could be a number behind that potentially. Sometimes they put a number in behind them. We just haven't changed it yet if that's the case. Alright, so let's get back to our front pack here. Doug and Subi Mark and Hair Razor are all going to be coming through here. I believe this is going to be the last lap, or there might be one more. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't have a chance to sit with race. Oh, huge slide there from Doug Burrow, and he manages to gather that up. He is going to actually take 2nd place away from Hair Razor there as he comes through on that big slide. So you can only imagine potentially what could have been there from Doug Burrow if he didn't have the massive throttle slide on the exit of the chicane there. He easily gave up a half second there, so potentially maybe even would have been pushing a pole position time there. And we have Petrolhead with a big snap there too, coming out of the same corner. He does improve there, and it's going to be good enough for 4th place, and it is 2 laps. I was correct on that. So Petrolhead's going to finish up here. We got Tap in 5th. We got Mike 1972 still rolling. He was our last driver out on the racetrack, so we're going to stick with him here. And these are our usual suspects. These are the guys that are fighting for the championship here, heading in to our finale in 2 weeks' time. So we're kind of really watching very closely on what basically our top 5 qualifiers are doing on track right now, because this is kind of setting up round number 9 in a couple weeks time here for finale, and we are forcing these drivers to race on an absolute doozy. You think Spa is one of the most difficult racetracks in the world? Well, the drivers are going to be facing a finale of finales, racing one of the top 5 most difficult racetracks in the world. So it's not going to get any easier for our racers today. So today is really where the racers want to make up any points, any moves that they can, because next round is going to be a race of attrition, and mistakes are going to cost. So you really want to pad or secure yourself in the point standings now before heading into finale, just in case something goes wrong, because it is most certainly possible for every racer in the field coming into our finale night to have an incident and potential full car down, out. No more racing for the day for that driver. So we are heading to the Nürburgring Nordschleife 24-hour edition for our finale here from these racers. So today is really the day that these racers got to try and make their moves to set up for finale night. So we're going to lead off with a definitely a technical difficult racetrack to lead in to an even more technical difficult racetrack for finale. So it should be a doozy. It should be a doozy. But it is going to be 10-10 Subimark in pole position here, securing yet another point towards that comfortable championship points lead he's got. So basically the way this breaks down today is if he can win here today, sweep up all the bonus points and finish a couple positions ahead of Doug Barrow and Petrolhead, that should secure the championship leading in to our finale round for 10-10 Subimark. However, if he finishes behind either Doug Barrow or Team Rad's Petrolhead in this race today, that does not lock down his championship, and he will have to fight for that in the finale. He can't just go into the finale having a really fun day at the Nordschleife. He's going to have to really work to make sure that he keeps that points lead. And we all know the Nordschleife can separate the real racers from the wannabe racers, because it is, again, one of the most difficult racetracks in the world, and it's no different in the sim racing world either. Alright, we're going to do some checks on the stream here real quick. We're still trying to get everything moving and grooving. Getting a GTRC dashboard up. Should be about 2 minutes here too as well, ladies and gentlemen, till race starts. There we go. Fantastic. Good luck, fellas, says Pigums. Welcome in, Pigums, brother. There we go. Now I can see all the chat. Now we're getting somewhere here. Alright, we are just getting race control, checking in with our racers to make sure our racers have their tires and everything ready to go here on these racing cars, as per, of course, racing regulations here within the series. So once the drivers have verified with their teams that the races are ready, I will assume we're going to see a grid lineup and get this race underway here today. So good timing for me to get everything finally up and running here. Alright, rock and roll. We're good to go, chat. Welcome in, everybody. We appreciate everybody tuning in here today. And, well, it is a gorgeous Saturday afternoon where I'm at, so I'm only hoping that you have much of the same thing where you guys are at. And I really hope you're enjoying it. If you're not here watching and you're out enjoying that beautiful weather, I don't blame you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are we ready to go GR2 racing right here from the Gran Turismo racing community? We got the red lights up, kick them tires, light them fires. Let's go, Group 2 racing, and we're green. Green, and Subimark gets a pretty good launch out the line here. Our pole sitter is going to lead us off into La Source here for the first time in our 60-minute endurance race here today, and we're just keeping our eye on that pack as they go through. Great job by our cameraman there to give us a great shot as everybody heads through La Source. Now, everybody's got through La Source safe and sound. Now, we're going to head up through Eau Rouge, up La Radion. This is a full send high-speed sector. Everybody's on cold racing tires, potentially different compounds of racing tires. We're all nose to tail coming into the end of the Camel Straight, roughly around 180 plus miles an hour. We're going to go 3 wide as Petrolhead pushes Doug Barrow up through it. He's going to try to take advantage. And here we go, 2 by 2 as we head into La Colombe for the first time. Ooh, that was a great little move right there between Team Rad, Petrolhead, and Dugborough. A little teamwork there gets them both up in front of the pack, and Subi Mark drops down to 4th place as Mike 1972 also slots up into 3rd place here. So it is Dugborough in the lead. Team Rad's Petrolhead right in behind there in 2nd place. It is Mike 1972 and Subi Mark there in 3rd and 4th place. We got Tap right here in 5th place. We've got Team Rad's Hair Razor in 6th. We've got Dialful Racing in 7th position. We got Supra here in 8th place. We got Type Bar there in 9th. We've got Bar 27 here in 10th position. We've got Trone Kobe in 11th. We got Pappy in 12th place. So everybody very locked together here, and this is going to be an interesting race here at Spa. So as we head in through campus here, we are now going to be going through Stave Lot and getting ready for the Paul Frere curve here. So Dugborough here, as he's heading in, 10-10 Subi Mark's now gotten ahead of Mike 1972 there. Mike 1972's dropped down a couple of spots there, so probably just a little mistake there, and that cost him a couple positions on the racetrack. And when the drivers are this close together for the beginning of the race, obviously it's very, very easy to make that quick loss on position if you make a little mistake. But Subi Mark now starting to put the pressure back on the Team Rad drivers up in front here. And again, this championship is really between these three gentlemen right here, mainly Petrolhead, Dugborough, and Subi Mark. So Subi Mark's trying to finish ahead of these guys so he can secure his championship, and these guys are trying to stop that happening at all costs, so they still have a shot at that championship heading into our finale. So there is a lot going on here on this racetrack right now in between these racers. So it is Dugborough here in 2nd place, and he is defending against Subi Mark. Subi Mark tried to get it done on the outside into the source there, but he can't get the job done. He's going to settle back in behind the 2nd place driver here. Boy, what a fight right now up in the top 3 spots here, as these drivers are not holding any prisoners here today. This is not going to be a race of let's play nice. This is going to be a race of I need to beat you, and I need to do it right now, as we're almost going 3 wide there. I thought we were going to go 3 wide here as we head into Lacombe, and here we go. Dugborough is going to hold up in 1st place. We got Subi Mark and Petrolhead here side by side. Small amount of contact there between the two, but everybody gets through safe and sound. And Tap is now in this discussion. 4-way battle for the race lead here. You got Subi Mark and Petrolhead still side by side now as we head into Brussels here. This is a downhill hairpin corner, so this is a very difficult corner to navigate side by side. Tap's going to take advantage of that battle. He's going to get inside of Petrolhead and move himself up into 3rd place. So in the right place at the right time, taking advantage of some hard battling there, and he gains himself a podium position. But now Subi Mark had that break from Petrolhead. He is absolutely charged up to the race leader here now, and he's like, hello, I'm back, let's do this. So it is side by side. No, just getting some clean air in that racing car as we head into campus here now. And a big mistake there from Dugborough. He gets into the grass there, and that is going to cost him a few positions here on the racetrack. He is going to drip down the order very quickly here, and you hate to see that, ladies and gentlemen. A little mistake there, and got into the dirt there, and it just sucked him right off the racetrack. So Subi Mark now in the race lead. We got Tap here in 2nd place, and Petrolhead here now in 3rd position. Whew, eventful first couple laps here for our racers up front here. So it's Mike 1972 still holding very strong there in 4th place, but the Hair Razor right here in 5th place, and Dialful Racing tucked right in underneath there. That puts Supra here in 7th. He's in that Audi. He's the only driver tackling the Audi here this season. That puts Type R here in 8th place, and he takes a little bit of a look up on the inside of Supra, but again, that power on the exit of that Audi just outdrives that NSX. Type R is going to have to just settle back in behind. We got Bar 27 here in 9th place. We got Happy Pappy up in 10th place here. Dugborough fell all the way down into P11 there. And again, when the pack is so close together, a mistake can cost you. It cost Dugborough 10 positions on the racetrack there, as he had to wait to let that group go by before he got back on track, so he didn't collect up another driver. And tough pill to swallow right there. He's going to have to use some strategy and some pace here potentially now to try and climb back through the field. And now that he's in the back of the field, every little battle he has to try and continue to climb through the field is just costing him time overall on the front end of this pack. So it's going to be interesting to see how he potentially changes his strategy here to try and regain. And we got Subi Mark going really deep in the corner there too as well, and that's going to allow 2nd and 3rd place to close in there. He manages to keep it on track track and not spinning, but he definitely gave up a good solid second there to Petrolhead here, who's now in second place, and Tap into third place as well. So he was starting to open up a little bit of a gap there. Now it's closed back up. Mike 1972 is right here in this discussion here as well, 1.2 seconds back, and as much as what we usually see from Mike 1972 here, he's just cool, calm, collected, and really doesn't start to do his push until, well, whenever in his mind is time to start that push, and it usually works out quite well for him. So do not count Mike 1972 out here today either. Let's go hashtag Team Rad. Just for like a share between flights. Yes sir, have safe travels, my man. Alright, so it is Dialful Racing here in 5th place. We've got Hair Racer here in 6th position, so Dialful has made his way around Hair Racer here recently. We got Type R and Supra here still battling it out as well for 7th position, and Bar 27 is now in this battle, so 3-way battle here for 7th place between the 3, and almost a 5-way battle for 4th place or 6th place there as we continue on here. But so side by side here is Bar 27 and Type R. Super goes deep into the chicane there, makes a mistake, gets a little bit sideways there, trying to come out of the corner. He collects Type R. Bar 27 manages to get around him there, and Doug Burrow also taking advantage there. He's going to tuck up the inside of Super there as well, so he's going to grab 2 spots there with that little bit of a mistake made by Super in the chicane. And Type R and Super, they're kind of the big losers out of that deal right there, as Type R is now side by side here with Super as we head up into Rouge and Lorettillon. And it looks like this mid-pack has kind of sorted themselves out, with Happy Pappy's now closing in there in 11th place as well, and we're throwing about three seconds back here on the pack right now. So it is 10-10 Subi Mark still in the race lead. It's 1.6 seconds over Team Rad's Petrolhead here in the GTR. So it's an NSX and a GTR here in first and second, and then we've got a Lexus in 3rd place. So we've got one of each on the podium here right now. We got Mike 1972 has closed very, very tight in on Tap here though, and we're going to stick with this here for a moment, as Mike 1972 may potentially be looking for an opportunity or a way around Tap here to get into that podium position, has tried to start that chase down to the top end of the podium. But right now Tap is on a good pace and he's in good rhythm here, and I don't think that's going to be an easy task for Mike 1972 here to get around Tap today either, if he chooses to do so. He may just be choosing to sit in behind right now. Pace can be very equal, and if they can tuck in a little bit tighter and actually start to work together, they can most certainly close in on Petrolhead and Subi Mark up in front, in my opinion. But we'll wait and see what these racers opt to do, as again they are competing for points here. Nope, Mike 1972 is going to get a run there. He's going to try and get the move done. He's going to get side by side here as we head through the Paul Frere and head in towards Blois-Chamont. You can see Subi Mark and potentially Petrolhead are going to be battling it out here. So we got 2 battles here for all the podium positions happening at the same time on the racetrack. Tap has defended the position from Mike 1972 and behind for the time being here, and as we head into the chicane, that still is the case, and Subi Mark also defends off Team Rad's Petrolhead here for the race lead. So these guys are keeping us on our toes here today in the booth. There is action all over the racetrack here, so we're just trying to kind of catch as much of it. We have a huge mistake there in that mid-pack there with Type R and group again, coming out of the chicane, and a couple drivers really struggling on the exit of that corner here. So let's get through our field here. We got Mike 1972 and Tap here now side by side as we head in towards our Rouge and Lorettillon, and Tap is going to take ahead in the lead there again. So Mike 1972 I don't think is hard trying to necessarily pass it out, and if he is, I think the Lexus is just out driving him here in the straights. A little bit of a push there coming from Mike 1972. I think that was an attempted bump draft there, and it just he just didn't quite get a square. We've seen a little bit of smoke coming from contact there. No harm, no foul. That wasn't intentional, to try to help you up the racetrack a little bit quicker so I can get up the racetrack a little bit quicker type deal there. And they're going to continue on, so it does appear that 3rd and 4th place are trying to link up a little bit to try and close down the gap to 1st and 2nd. Dialful Racing doing a really good job here in 5th place. He's still holding the charge from Team Rad's Hair Razor off, and that gap is about a second, so nothing too drastic happening right there. But this little feisty 4-way battle right here is a different story here. So it's Doug Barrow and Bar 27 here in 7th and 8th place, and we got Type R and Supra there as well in just behind. So those two have actively been in this battle here all race long, Type R and Supra, and Doug Burrow hasn't been actively in this battle with Bar 27 all race long, but because of the mistake coming into campus on lap, I believe it was 3 there, he just fell back to the pack, and now he's trying to charge back up, but he is doing a good job. He is back up into the midfield here, and he's 4 seconds in behind his teammate Hairraiser right now, but he is bringing along Bar 27 here with him as well, and these two are no strangers to each other. They are very familiar with each other, with their racing styles, and this is a good little battle here. If these two can link together, this could be Doug's saving grace to try and get up through the field. I thought we were going to lose Bar there. He was just about to go sideways as he was on the curb edge there of the Paul Frere curve, and he does a great job at keeping cool, calm, collected there and keeping the car moving forward. He doesn't even lose touch with Doug there as we head through Blois-Chaumont, but boy, that was a tense moment right there for Bar 27, and I think Bar's not really looking to battle here, I don't think either. I think he realizes that they got a gap and they need to work on it. We got Hairraiser in pit lane, so the driver should grab that position from Hairraiser here as they come up through the start-finish line. Type R's in 8th place. We still got Supra right there in behind. We got Happy Pappy now in 10th with Hairraiser in pit lane, and Trone Kobe is coming around here. So we have seen our first pit stop that we've caught so far here on on the race here today, but Subi Mark doing everything he needs to do here right now. He's got 1.5 seconds on the field here, and he is moving and grooving. Got Team Rat's Petrolhead here in 2nd place, 3.4 seconds down the road from Mike 1972, has just gotten around Tap here. So finally, Mike's 1972 has made his way around Tap here, and that may very well have just been a slingshot engaged move up on one of the straightaways that these two have kind of been working together, or it could have just been a Tap made a small little mistake and Mike just kind of took over the front position in that pack. And then we got yellow flag, and it's 10-10 Subi Mark off the racetrack here, and that is not going to be good. He is going to see some damage on that racing car. Let's go see what happened there, as we had a yellow flag on the racetrack here. So we are coming into... Oh, and he just gets on that curbing and does a quick 360 spin there, gets himself into the wall. He does a pretty good job at keeping the car's momentum moving forward as we head coming through Stavelot there, getting it wrong there. And now he is going to have dirty tires, so he's probably going to lose another position or two potentially here. But now it's Team Rat's Petrolhead here in the lead, and it's 3.3 seconds over 10-10 Subi Mark with that mistake. It is light damage. You can see the damage has already gone away here on the car. So Mike 1972 and Tap now are right on the back end of 10-10 Subi Mark, and this could be very good for those two drivers, as if Subi Mark can continue to try and reel Petrolhead back in, then he'll pull these two right along with them as well. So 3-way battle here for 2nd place right now on the racetrack. Now after the mistake from Subi Mark in the race lead there, and Petrolhead now our race leader. So it's Spa, baby. Anything can happen here. We just touched base on that curbing in qualifying and how dangerous it can be here around this racetrack, and there was a prime example of it right there. Dival Racing here in 5th place. We got Doug Burrow and Bar 27 coming into pit lane. We've got Super opting to stay around, and Happy Pappy as well, so they'll grab those positions, and Trollen and Hairraiser should also grab some positions here too. We got a small amount of lag coming from Petrolhead here today, but it doesn't look anything too serious. And he is 3.1 seconds up the road here right now as well. So he is slightly losing a little bit of time to the group in behind. But if these guys start to battle at all, that's just going to allow Petrolhead to continue to roll further and further away from this group. So it's really going to come down to what this 3-car pack is going to do here in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place right now. Are they going to fight, or are they going to play nice? It's 14 minutes into a 60-minute race. At this point, I think you've been having some pretty hard battles, and in Subi Mark's case, he knows he's got pace, and he just made a mistake. He's got to kind of settle himself down back in behind the wheel of that racing car. He's got to get back into his rhythm, but having the confidence knowing that you have the pace to catch Petrolhead again should help. So ideally, he doesn't want to see that battle happening. He wants to see Mike and Tap just play nice in behind, and maybe the three of them work together to catch Petrolhead in the lead, and then sort out who's going to finish where from there potentially. But this early in the race, I think now that we're kind of sorted out, we've kind of got ourselves into our positions here early on in the race before our first stint is over. I think that now maybe the drivers are starting to think a little more about being patient and calm on the racetrack and hitting their marks and getting everything right than they are maybe necessarily hard battling for early on positions. So I think we're going to see this race settle down a little bit here, but I don't know how for how much, because the mid-pack has been spicy all season long here. And of course, seeing different pit stop strategies and sequences coming out of the drivers as well. It tends to keep the pack fairly close together this season, it seems like, as well. So the varying strategies has kept the racing quite intense all season. So we've got a slight little break at the moment here in the action. For how long? Probably not too much longer, but it is Subi Mark here, and he's got the gap just about to under 3 seconds there now, and actually to come out of La Source it is 2.5 seconds there, so that was a good gain through turn number 1 there for Subi Mark, and he is starting to pull away from Mike and Tap here in 3rd and 4th place again, so the pace of Subi Mark starting to kick back in there, and it seems like he's got himself locked back in behind the wheel, and the charge is back on to try and catch Petrolhead here for the race lead. So it's Dive Racing in 5th position, and he's in no man's land right now. He's got 7.6 seconds to the top 4, and then he's got 6 seconds to Type R chasing here in 6th place. So not the worst place to be at this point in the race. You can really work on getting those clean, crisp, fast laps, and hopefully that when you get out of your pit stop sequences, that time in clean open air has allowed you to gain on the drivers up in front. Maybe a little bit of pit stop strategy to help that out. Type R here in 6th position, and so much the same thing for him here right now too as well. Kind of in no man's land, 5.2 seconds to the driver behind, and 6 seconds to Dial Racing up ahead. That takes us to our Audi driver, and he's not so comfortable here. He's got a big gap up in front of him here right now, but he has a GTR all over the back end of that Audi here right now, and they can still see Type R up there at certain parts of the racetrack, so they know he's not too far away. And we're not seeing these two really battle hard here right now, but Supra seems to have really been struggling in the final sector of this racetrack with that Audi here today, and that is just trying to get that clean gripped power ratio down on the racetrack to out of the chicane. And a little mistake made there by Supra there, had to check up on his brakes, and he's going to open the door up for Happy Pappy here as we enter in towards the Paul Frere curve here. Happy Pappy just checking up a little bit there, settles back in behind Supra, and is he going to get the run through the Paul Frere curve here and do something on the long straight? It is quite potentially possible here. The GTR has a good power pull, so it is potential that he can out top end our Audi here. It just depends on where that Audi tops out at as we head through Blochemont here. I mean, he's tucked in. If he wants to here, he can definitely go ahead and try to take the move, but Supra is going to go defensive here. That is going to force Pappy on the outside heading into the first part of the chicane, but if Pappy could have held it in there, that would have put him on the inside, but both drivers get through the chicane nice and neat and tidy right there, and it's still 7th and 6th place for these two, or 7th and 8th place, pardon me, for these two here as they start lap number 9. Drone Kobe and Hairraiser here now, and Hairraiser's going to take a look up on the outside. He gets a good run out of the chicane, and he's going to get ahead coming into La Source here, so just into the braking zone. Hairraiser's going to take that position from Drone Kobe and move himself up into 9th place. Now keeping in mind these drivers have made a set of pit stops here. We got Doug Rose also made a set of pit stops, and Bar 27 also in behind has made that pit stop with them. So potential, like I said, potential teamwork happening there between the two drivers right now to try and close up the drivers up in the mid pack there. Oh, and a big slide there from Petrolhead again through Stavelot there. You know, that has been a tough corner for these drivers here today in these Group 2 cars. We got Subi Mark here in 2nd place, and I mean the gap is now under a second, so he is locked into that slipstream range at this point here. And 10-10 Subi Mark, after his mistake there, seeing a little mistake here from Petrolhead, has now just allowed him to close up that little bit more, and now he's got the gap well within slipstream range here, so we may see Subi Mark potentially close in on Petrolhead here as we enter the Paul Frere curve. However, with that being said, the GTR is a little bit stronger in a top-end run than the NSX is. Not by much, but it's going to be difficult for Subi Mark to make the gain and the move on this long front run here. He needs to set that up and get it done in one of the more technical sectors so he can work on building that little bit of a gap ahead of that GTR when he hits these longer straights again, because that GTR just has a little bit more top end pull than the NSX does here in the class. So the NSX is much more nimble through the corners than the GTR is, and that is where the advantage is for the NSX over that car. So the drivers need to really utilize the advantages and disadvantages of the racing cars in these battles to try and close up gaps, open up gaps, and make moves. That's what's so fun about seeing all the different Group 2 cars here in the series today, and all season long as far as that goes. So we've got Tap here at third, and again we still have NSX leading, a GTR now leading the race here. We've got an NSX in second, we've got a Lexus here in third place, so one of each manufacturer currently sitting on podium right now, and we have one Audi in the group here today as well. He's a little bit further back right now. That car has been struggling a little bit this season. It just doesn't seem to quite have the oomph over its brothers and sisters here in the remainder of the class. So the Audi was definitely a tough choice here this season, and probably makes sense why we only see one driver attempted here this season, as the majority of the field has opted to go with the NSX overall. So Mike 1972 here in fourth place, and these two have been playing nice. They've been swapping that position back and forth here a little bit, but again, this isn't battling for that position. I think this is two drivers working together, and if one makes a mistake or miscues, the other one just takes over in that spot, and they just swap the roles. And because of that, it does seem like it's working. They're 6 seconds back of Subi Mark and Petrolhead here right now. Those two have great pace here today. Diaful Racing here in fifth. We got Type R in sixth place. He is starting to close in on Diaful there as well. Hair Race is 5.3 seconds in behind Pappy and those guys up in the mid-pack there. We got Super here in ninth. He's got Doug Burrow and Bar 27 closing in, and this is side-by-side battling here between Bar 27 and Doug Burrow here, and you can see a little bit of lag coming from Bar 27 here today as well. So big slide there from Doug as he maintains the position there. And again, I don't know if that was necessarily an intentional battle for position more than it was one driver got a good run on the other one and he just drove up in beside him to get clean air, but that side-by-side through the corner definitely is going to slow the drivers down a little bit. So and as we have Doug Burrow coming through here, it's Bar 27 here in 11th place as well. They're moving. I mean, they're closing in. They got Super right there, second up ahead. So just the playing nice and the small amount of teamwork here and there when they can give a push to each other here has started to pay off for Doug and Bar 27 here, it looks like. But here we go, battle for the race lead here. I just seen that on the radar. I've seen two dots that were extremely close together. It's 10-10. Subi Mark is going to get the move done here on Team Rad's Petrolhead, and there's going to be a response as we head up our Rouge in the Camel Straight here. But let's just get a quick look at this pass here, and it was just on the exit of the source. Subi Mark just got a better run than Petrolhead did there, and he just manages to out drag race Petrolhead there heading into Rouge. But again, at the end of the Camel Straight, the prowess of that GTR really showing its strengths. He goes probably got the pass done just coming into the braking zone. You can see the battle still on between these two for the race lead, and that was probably that NSX responding back coming into Lacombe here for the first coming into Lacombe during this battle. He probably got back inside of that GTR, but again, this is a feisty little battle here between Petrolhead and Subi Mark today, and here we go again, battle for the race lead. Subi Mark's going to take a look up the inside, and as we head through Pouan, it is going to be job done there from 10-10 Subi Mark over Team Rad's Petrolhead. That was a great job by those two racers. That is not easy to do in this situation. Petrolhead did not just crash there, where there was a huge lag spike in the lobby. Hopefully everybody's okay with that. That was pretty insane. So yeah, that is what we like to call net coding, for those that are wondering what that was. That's something beyond our control, unfortunately, here, but that was a huge internet spike right there. And it looked like Petrolhead just drove himself into the wall, but in reality, he's still racing 10-10 Subi Mark for the race lead here. So battle's still on for this race lead, and it is no love lost between these two. We got Tap in third, we got Mike in fourth, we got Diaful racing here in fifth position. Type R is closing in. He's got the gap under 3, so slowly but surely he's reeling them in there up in front of him. That's fantastic to see. We've got Type R has a 12-second gap over Pappy here at 7, so that leaves Hair Razor 2.3 seconds in behind Happy Pappy, and slowly but surely just closing in. We've got Bar 27 has gotten around Doug Burrow here, and huge exit coming through Paul Frere there, and he just manages to keep the car together. Again, you got to really flirt with the limits on that part of the racetrack to maximize the exit speed. And Tro and Colby rounding up the field here. in 12th position, but this is still ongoing. Here we go, battle for the race lead as we head up the Camel Straight here again on lap number 12, and much of the same thing from last time. We're going to see Subimark go up the outside. That gives him the inside position. He hooks the curb, does a little curb grind there on the center of that NSX skateboard here at GT7, and we're going to give him a 7.5 out of that. There is it wasn't quite a full sideways grind there, but he manages to keep that car underneath of him, and he keeps on the tail of our race leader here. So a mistake actually made by both those drivers coming into the cone there, and well, here we are side by side now heading in through Pouon again. So these two are just sending it, and a little bit of contact that time between the two. There's a hit into Pouon, and that puts 1010 Subimark into a pretty dangerous spot there on the outside of the racetrack in the runoff area. That is very dirty out there, and you can see that's going to catch him out here now as we enter into campus. And again, he's just going to have to take it easy here for a couple of corners, and he is pushing super hard there right now as he is just trying to get that dirt off these racing tires here. Now obviously these tires are fairly worn down. They're about halfway through their lifespan, and in racing terms they're probably nearing the end of their lifespan before that kind of optimal grip level starts to disappear underneath this race car. And I think we may be seeing that potentially a little bit here from Subimark, but the hard battling here for this race lead between him and Petrolhead costing him a little bit there as he put himself on the outside into Pouon. There was just a small amount of contact, and that just pushed him a little bit wide. Now he sees himself with Tap and Mike 1972 right back in that review mirror again. So Tap and Mike 1972, they're just chilling back there in 3rd and 4th place. They're working together. They're not battling too much. They're just kind of staying up there with that front group. And the way this race is going today, that could potentially work out really, really well for those two. We'll have to wait and see. But Diaful Racing here now coming into pit lane. Type R is also coming into pit lane. So that leaves us with Pappy and Hair Razor. Hair Razor is closed on to the backside of this GTR. And we are going to see these two continue on around the racetrack here. So Hair Razor is just about a car length in behind that GTR, but you can see the power of that. How quickly it just pulls away from that NSX there. Once you get into the straight line and get the power down in that GTR, it just pulls. But the NSX is really strong here at Spawn, and showing that here so far today, as it has been very racy here with the other manufacturers on the racetrack. Alright, so a good run there from Happy Pappy and GTR as we head into Rouge L'Arteon. That leaves Bar 27 here in 7th place, and he's kind of got no man's land going on there. We got Type R here in 8th position with Doug Barrow here in 9th, and maybe a little mistake made there by Doug, but I think Doug's going to take a look up the outside, and side by side here up the Camel Straight. He made a little bit of contact just coming up through L'Arteon there, and we went to try to make the move, which gave him Type R a little bit of a boost there. You can see Type R is just checking a little bit there. He essentially kind of gave the position to Doug there. He didn't fight him for it, essentially. But now that's put some heat on him here as he checked up a little bit too much there, in my opinion. And that allowed Diaful and Supra to really close in on him there. A little bit of contact there between Supra and Diaful Racing in the background there as they were battling with Type R. Supra's going to move ahead there and move up into 10th place, and almost a 4-way battle here. Hair Razor's trying to get away from this pack, and this pack is trying to stay with Hair Razor. But a 3-way battle here right now for 9th place between Type R, Supra, and Diaful Racing. And it's just kind of developing. Some of these guys are still getting some heat built up in their tires after a pit stop as well, so not quite up to full race pace, so to speak, yet. Alright, so our race leader now coming into pit lane here, and Tap is going to opt to stay out for an extra lap. So is Mike 1972, so Tap will take over the race lead. He is our 3rd race leader here today. 4th race leader here today. That's why I hesitated. I had to think about that. We had Doug Barrow in the lead there for a little bit, getting in the race as well. So we've had 4 different leaders, and we've had about 8 lead changes here so far in this race today. It's been a spicy one. Petrol's coming out of pit lane here right now. Subimark is just out in behind him here, and the gap is about 4 seconds, it looks like, so not too much has changed there. Hair Razor has made his way around Happy Pappy here, heading into La Source, or coming out of the final chicane. I'm not sure where yet. It was actually, looks like it was leading into the chicane that Hair Razor got the job done on Pappy there. So Hair Razor's going to move himself up into 5th place with that pass on Happy Pappy. Happy Pappy there in 6th, Bar 27 chasing here in 7th place, and that gap is starting to come down 3.7 seconds. Doug Burrows here in 8th place. He's 7 seconds down the road. We got Supra here in 9th place with Type R in 10th position. Got Diaful here in 11th and Trone in 12th position. I feel like Trone is on a different strategy than the rest of the field here, or he's just a little bit off pace here today. Great pass, Subi, says Madeline. So it is Mike here in the race lead, and now another new race leader here as Mike 1972 takes over the race lead. So 5 different race leaders here so far today. We've got Tap here in 2nd place, and I feel like he just made a mistake there, and that was just a freebie there for Mike 1972 because the gap was also 5 seconds between the two all of a sudden. So that definitely indicates that there was a semi-spin or a small spin from Tap there at some point on the racetrack, and that cost him a little bit of track position. But Petrolhead here still has 11.5 seconds to catch up on him, and he has Subi Mark 4.6 seconds in behind. Hair Razor 6 seconds in behind them, so he's done a pretty good job to get himself right back into where he was at the race start. Happy Pappy here in 6th place, and he's not letting Hair Razor really go anywhere. Happy Pappy's on a charge here today. We got Bar 27 here in 7th place, and there we go. Our race leaders now coming in. So Mike coming in, Taps coming in. That will give Petrolhead the race lead back. It's a long pit stop here at Spa as well. We're going to see roughly a 45 to 50 second pit stop depending how much fuel the drivers are taking here. It's a very long pit delta at Spa. It's one of the longest in the game, so they definitely did not have the gap to stay ahead of Petrol here. The question is now is how big is the gap going to be from Petrol Mark to the field chasing it behind. So we got Hair Razor coming here in 3rd place. There's Mike 1972. He's actually just coming out right now. He may potentially lose that position to Hair Razor. No, he is going to get up to speed into Rouge and Laurentillon here before Hair Razor closes in. So Mike does come out back into 3rd place there. Hair Razor in 4th, now also Tap in 5th. We got Bar 27 here just entering Rouge right now in 6th place. Doug Burrows just coming out of La Source in 7th. We got Type R and Diaful Racing here for 8th and 9th place, heading up into Rouge and Laurentillon here on lap 15. And they're separated by about a car length here, so we will see Slipstream close these two up here as we enter up into the Kemmel Straight. And I guess the bigger question is Diaful going to get the job done here? Type R is a pretty defensive driver, so I'm assuming that Type R is going to sit on that defensive line. He is going to take that defensive position. He's going to move over, of course, get as much racing line as he can, and Type R just gets a beautiful through there, and just absolutely charges through in front of Diaful Racing there. And there's no response there for Diaful Racing as we head into Lacombe there between the two drivers. So Tron Kobe here in 10th place. He's just heading in through that sector right now, starting to close in on those guys. We got Pappy here in 11th and Supra in 12th place after making some pit stops here on the track today. So Team Rad's Petrolhead, our race leader, 4.3 seconds ahead of 10/10 Subi Mark. Battle here between Mike 1972 and Hair Razor, and we're going to tag that, and we're going to go take a look at that pass here. So we are heading up into campus here, it looks like. And Mike 1972 and Hair Razor battling it out here, having a good healthy battle. Oh, and a mistake right there by Mike 1972 on the exit there. Car went a little bit left, and that opened up the door for Hair Razor there, and Hair Razor took full advantage, drove right on through, heading into the Paul Frere curve, and takes that position away from Mike 1972. So Hair Razor now sitting on the podium here with just a little under 27 minutes remaining here, and a big slide there from Team Rad's Petrolhead heading out of La Source. That's going to cost him a couple tenths there on Subi Mark, and you see now the gap is under 4 seconds here. Hair Razor's 5 seconds in behind. Little wiggle from him there coming around La Source. Mike got a good run through there, and you can see that gap is just slowly coming down here a little tiny bit between the two, and Tap is still right there, 1.9 seconds in behind. But now Bar 27 is trying to close in here as well. He's got 3.3 seconds in behind that group. Doug Burrows 5.2 seconds in behind Bar 27. So I see a lot of opportunity for battles to be happening here on this racetrack still before this race is over. So if you need a refreshment, a refill on your refreshments right now or your snacks, it'd definitely be a good time. So I think that we're going to be in for a good charging battle in the last 15 minutes of this race in multiple spots on the racetrack. All right, Tron coming in here and coming out right now. So Fuel Man already did his job there, and Tron Kobe is going to come out potentially after his first pit stop here. He may have ran like 40 minutes or like a 33-minute stint there on the hard tires. That was pretty impressive if that's the case. That's a long stint, and that's brave on those hard tires, but it is Petrolhead in the lead here. Subimark is trying to cut into that lead a little bit here, as the gap is 3.7 seconds. Both the drivers are on the racing hard tire here as well, so I suspect we're not going to see them opt to stay on them for too long, but we have seen quite a few of the drivers take some longer stints on the hard tires here today as well. So I guess we'll just have to wait to see what's in store on their strategies here today in the pit lanes there for our leaders. Mike 1972 here in 4th place. We got Tap in 5th. We got Bar 27 in 6th. I mean, in all reality, our top 6 drivers are all within striking distance of each other for fighting for podiums here. Doug Burrow's not that far behind in 7th place here now, starting to track as well. There's potential here for a lot of battling to start brewing on this racetrack before this race is over. We got 24.5 minutes remaining, and the gap is coming down between Petrolhead and Subi Mark right now. Subi is tracking. Hair Razor, he's lost a little bit of time to those guys, 7.5 seconds almost now the gap. Mike 1972 still right there, about 1.5 back, with Tap about 2 seconds back, with Bar about 1.5 seconds back, with Doug 6 seconds back. And I mean, it doesn't look like it's that far really when these drivers are. Let's jump on board with Bar 27. And this is a 1.5 second gap, and I mean, he's right there. You almost feel like you can reach out and touch that car almost as we're heading up the racetrack. And then you can see 2 more cars that's just up ahead of them there yet. And for Bar 27, that means you can see 3rd place. And a little bit of a braking miscalculation there. He does a great job to keep it underneath of him here, but boy oh boy, he's all out of sorts here now as he comes out of Lacombe, and he gets it back together as we head into Brussels there. So great job there by Bar 27 to keep the car underneath of him, and it's no joke as these tires are they're working hard underneath these very high powered cars. We got Subi Mark here. I think 2 seconds is that gap here now, so he is tracking a 10th here, a 10th there, a 10th here, a 10th there right now over Team Rad's Petrolhead. Hair Razor here, he's actually closing in a little bit too on that front pack. He gained about 4/10 there on that second half of the racetrack here. Mike 1972's just lost a small amount of time there, and Tap is still right there, Bar is still right there, so anything can happen here. We still got Type R and Dialful racing here as well in 8th and 9th place, and we still have Type R leading this 2-car pack here right now. And I'm just wondering when is Dialful Racing going to attempt to get this job done here again. And we're seeing some pretty low fuel here on a lot of these guys with our hard racing tires here. It does tell me we're looking at shorter hard tire stints from some of our racers here. Got Pappy here in 10th position. We've got Super in 11th. We've got Trone here in 12th. And I'm not sure how well this strategy of his is going to work here today, but if he doesn't have to stop again, he may pick up another 30-40 seconds on that pack, and that only put him about 20 seconds behind the leader, which will essentially put him about right in that 6th, 7th place position on the track. So we'll have to wait and see if Trone's strategy is going to pay off here today. I believe he looks like he's doing the 1 stop, so we'll have to see how that relates. I could be wrong. We could have just missed an early pit stop there from Trone, but with Trone Kobe, sometimes he throws out some different strategies, and they have worked for him in the past as well. So it doesn't mean it's wrong, that's for sure. Just it's how you execute your strategy is really what it comes down to. And sometimes it's just not right, but sometimes it just comes down to execution. And right now, this is this battle is starting to redevelop here for the race lead between Team Rad's Petrolhead and 1010's Subi Mark here. So now they're tucked in here, so battle on here. Car length separating the NSX from the GTR here right now, and as we enter in through Pujon, we have seen lots of scrapping between these two through this sector here, and again was a little bit of lag spike here coming from Petrolhead, and it seems to have settled down again. So some dancing from the GTR driver up in front here right now, and it's a little bit difficult to navigate that, but Mark's doing a really, really great job. He's just remaining patient, and when he feels like he's got a safer opportunity or a better opening, he'll probably try and take it for sure. But right now he's just assessing and calculating when and where he's going to make this move, but also getting a little bit low on the fuel here as well. So again, I did suspect that we were going to see a short stint coming from our race leaders on these hard racing tires here. We may very well see both of these drivers actually come into pit lane here as we come around the chicane. I actually don't think Subi Mark has enough fuel in the tank to go around another time, and he gets the pass done going into the chicane leading into pit lane, and that could be very, very crucial right there, because that means he went into pit lane as a race leader. And that means if they take the same amount of fuel and no mistakes are made in pit lane, he should come out just ahead of Team Rad's Petrolhead. But it's going to come down to what fuel load these drivers need to take in their cars to get around this racetrack for the final stint. So our top 6 drivers, with the exception of Mike 1972 at this point, in pit lane to make their final pit stops of the race. And this is when things are going to start to get interesting. We're in our final stint, and now the drivers are going to be confident in the fact that they have fuel and tires to go the distance, and it's going to be race on. So let's see what happens. And Rad Petrolhead actually comes out ahead of 1010 Subi Mark in pit lane, so he just jumps him by a little tiny bit here, by basically maybe 2 liters of fuel. I bet you it's that close in pit lane. So he does actually come back out ahead of Subi Mark in pit lane, and here we go again, side by side into Lacombe. That's going to put Subi on the outside, but he's not going to be able to hold the position tight there, but he's going to look for the over-under coming out of the chicane. And as we head into Brussels, we're still side by side, but no, the GTR is just going to edge out here. He's going to take the inside line into Brussels is Petrolhead. He's going to force Subi Mark to try and do it on the outside. If you wanted to get the job done, he's going to make him take the long way around there. That's just smart racing right there. And Petrolhead here doing some great defensive work right now as we head out in through towards Pouan. So nose to tail here from Petrolhead and Subi Mark, and now we're side by side there. And I think there was a little bit of lag contact there. Subi Mark just checked up, gave the position back because he wasn't really probably sure if that was him or the internet causing that. And this is a very active battle. Live to fight another day is what we like to say there. And instead of just forcing the issue and both drivers potentially having a bigger incident, he just backs off, sets it back up, and tries again. So here we go, side by side now, heading into the Paul Frere curve, and that is a little bit of a compromise position for Petrolhead because he can't take the optimal setup line to head into the Paul Frere, and Subi Mark's going to get the job done on Petrolhead for now. As we head in towards Blois-Chamont, that GTR's power is going to kick in here, and it is going to keep him right on the backside of that Honda NSX. And you can see he is going to engage coming into the chicane, and we're side by side now for the race lead, for second place, pardon me. It will be for the race lead once they come around. Here's Mike 1972's in pit lane currently, and as we exit the chicane, we're still side by side. It's a drag race heading into La Source, and Mark does have the position here right now. He is going to go defensive. Petrol is going to take the racing line. Mark's going to squeeze up the track a little bit there to get a little bit of room for his turn. And are we going to see the over-under from Petrolhead here? No. Subi Mark gets a good cut through La Source there, and he's going to get the power down clean and efficiently, and the GTR is going to have to use its power to outrun him here. And nope, he's just going to settle back into a Rouge already on. He's going to try and set it up here now. A little lift sometimes coming up through L'Arrêtion right there to set up that slingshot move up to Kemmel Straight is what we see out of the drivers there, and that's exactly what we've seen there from Petrolhead. But was it too soon, as Subi Mark's going to respond back on the outside again heading into Lacombe, and again Petrolhead is going to hold the position, but this time he defends the over-under and doesn't allow Subi Mark to get the nose in there again, and he's going to hold that position here. So it is Team Rad's Petrolhead here in the race lead and Subi Mark in second place. Subi takes a wide entry here. He's going to be looking for the big exit. He's going to close up tight here on Petrolhead, and they are nose to tail. Oh, a little bit of contact there as we head into the 90. And again, that the lag spike. So this is difficult racing here between these two drivers there. And I actually don't think that there really was, yeah, I don't know what that was, but Subi Mark, just check it up there, back it off, giving Petrolhead the position back there, and again re-engaging it. And again, that's, in my opinion, from what we just seen right there, that's no fault of anybody's there but the internet connection, and that's tough racing conditions right there for those two drivers, both drivers involved. So we got Tro and Kobe here in 10th place, and the reason why I say that is because the driver that's typically lagging on the other driver's point of view doesn't realize that they're lagging, and they just think that that guy just got into it, and that potentially on the frustrator in front starts to confuse them as why there's small amounts of contact, because maybe that driver doesn't realize that they're bouncing around that tiny little bit on the racetrack, right? So it's a very difficult situation for all the drivers involved. The driver that doesn't realize that their car might be bouncing around a little bit, and also to the drivers trying to find a safe way to battle that driver as well. And again, these are conditions of virtual online racing here in Gran Turismo 7. This is something that we deal with on a day-to-day league racing basis, not just here at GT45 Gaming or the GTRC, all over the GT7 platforms. Every league deals with these kinds of situations, and you know, the drivers, as time has gone on and this platform continues to grow older, we're over 2 years old here with Gran Turismo 7 now, you know, the drivers are starting to figure out ways to manage and deal with it, and sometimes you just make the decision not to, and just take what you can get sometimes, and you know, it's tough because as organizers and league officials and stewarding officials and race control officials behind the scenes of all these organizations and great groups that run these leagues for our racers, it makes it really tough on them, because you know, try to steward a situation where you got cars literally breaking the laws of physics essentially, and obviously that's not happening. So it's just a latency issue, and it's a data transfer issue essentially from one driver to another, and the data doesn't transfer as efficiently. It creates those little gaps in the data that we see with these cars jumping around, and that's what creates the net coding. So Bar 27 here in 6th place, we got Doug Burrow in 7th, we got Happy Pappy here in 8th, Super in 9th, Tro and Kobe here in 10th, we've got Type R in 11th, and Diavol Racing in 12th. It's been a lot of speculation on what the big issue is. You know, we have the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 together racing as well, so we have two different generations of consoles that could be creating that issue. Of course, it's each individual internet connection as well could potentially be a part of that problem, depending on your area of the world. You also could be playing a small factor of that, depending on your type of internet. Your NAT type number really makes a big difference as well. Depending on how much of your Wi-Fi is being used while you're racing matters in your household, because everybody on Wi-Fi while you're racing is taking bandwidth away from the game, which means the game's not necessarily getting everything it needs to process as well. Having your PlayStation hardlined in while racing is very important in my opinion. It keeps a good steady bandwidth there, and I mean, I host leagues and lobbies on a regular basis, and we've only had one ever drop out during active league racing, and that was actually just recently in our GT45 Prototype Challenge in round 1 for our Pro-Ams this season. That had finally happened to me, so even I've got very, very strong internet where I'm at and where I'm located, and even that sometimes is just not good enough. So we're at the mercy of the platform. The drivers realize that, and they really do a great job at making the best with tough racing situations sometimes. And then again, you know, the officials and behind the scenes, they got to deal with the after effects of all that going on the racetrack as well. You know, the huge kudos to everybody involved in that, no matter what league you're in, because it's a difficult task. And at the end of the day, the drivers really do just come out to have some fun competition and race each other and test their mettle, and that's what it's all about. And grow friendships and bonds, and you know, grow the sim racing family essentially. So at the end of the day, there's a bigger goal and purpose. So really, that's what it comes down to, off track with the drivers, and we're just waiting to see these battles set up. We're just filling time right now with chit chat. I apologize, I kind of veered off course a little bit, but you know, the viewers, you guys got to deal with it too. I mean, you got to hear the noises of the tires screeching when they shouldn't be screeching. You got to deal with the cars bouncing around. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to watch, and I'm honestly sure if you suffer from epilepsy, it could potentially be a trigger as well. So keeping that in mind, maybe we should potentially be maybe putting some warnings up on the broadcast actually about that, just because we obviously don't want any of our community to have any complications from watching a live stream either. I would feel absolutely terrible if that happened. So let's throw that disclaimer out there right now that it just popped into my brain. You know, I never thought about that, but the rubber banding and just the unpredictable movements of the cars potentially could be a trigger for epilepsy as well, I suppose. So you know, fair warning to our viewers out there. Unfortunately, it's beyond our control as well. So if you're feeling a little off, or you're feeling a little nauseous, or you're feeling a little wrong while watching the broadcast because the cars are bouncing around, I just want you to be okay and healthy. Please step away from the stream and make sure your health is okay first. So it is Soupy Mark here in second place. We got Mike 1972 here in third position. We got Hair Razor here in fourth. You know, there's a lot of things happening on these racetracks and these broadcasts. I never really looked at it that sense. You know, there's a lot of different colors. There's a lot of light refraction. There's a lot of different moving parts that could really overstimulate the eye senses. And, you know, that overstimulation can be a trigger for certain things for sure. So it's something that I'm definitely going to take a much deeper look into now, actually, in behind the scenes, and maybe do a little bit of research on that because, again, we just want our viewers to be okay as well. So this Team Rad's Petrolhead here in the race lead. He's got 0.8 of a second over Soupy Mark here right now. So this has settled down a little bit. We got just over 10 minutes remaining in our race here. And I don't know if these guys are just playing nice here right now, trying to see if there's going to be a mistake made, or if it's due to the fact that Petrolhead is having a little bit of net coding issue, and Soupy Mark is maybe just waiting for an opportune moment to try and get that done. What a battle. This is a huge battle for our race lead here today for sure. But Hair Razor and Mike 1972 here for third place now as well. So this is a developing battle here. And Hair Razor's been very quiet this race in a sense, but here he is in the discussion for the podium here today at Spa. And right now it's Mike 1972 keeping that podium away from him here on the racetrack, but 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go here still. We got Tap right there in 5th place as well. Bar 27 still lingering very close here in 6th, and Dunkbro in 7th place. So I mean, the usual mid-pack suspects are all still right there, all still just a little off each other here. So one little mistake made by one of those drivers, and I think we got a little battle happening back here. Let's go take a peek-sees here. We don't quite have the battle yet, I think, from our race leaders. We probably do. I bet you they're side by side. Not quite. I knew they were very close together, and this has been a spot where these two have been battling a lot here on the track today, so we figured we better come check out, see what was going on here. And as we head into the chicane, it is side by side, and Soupy Mark is actually going to try and get up on the inside here. He's going to go in really deep there late on the brakes to try and get the job done, but we're going to see the over-under here from Petrol, and Petrol can't get the return on him, but he gets a good run, and he's going to tuck right back in underneath Soupy Mark. So here we go again. Again, a little lift of the throttle at the right potential spot here coming up in through Laurentian will give you just enough separation from that car in front that when you finally do get onto the flat surface of the Camel Straight, you can just tuck into that slipstream, use the slingshot, and get the pass done on the inside. And when you time it right, there is no response coming from the driver heading into Lacombe, and that is a perfectly timed pass up in through the Camel Straight, up Rouge and Laurentian right there. We've seen that attempt a couple times from Petrolhead here against Soupy Mark in this late battle here for race lead, and he got that one perfect this time, as Soupy Mark had absolutely no way to try and respond to that move heading into Lacombe that time around. So we're going to be definitely keeping our eye on these front four drivers here right now. Hair Razor has gotten around Mike 1972, so Hair Razor finds himself on the podium, but I got to tell you, look at that sky right now. The clouds are gray. They're very looming. They're very, very hanging over this racetrack right now. And in the middle part of this racetrack, there is potential for rain before the end of this race here today. And that is going to absolutely really mess up the day of the drivers, I think. So let's see what Spa has in store for us here. We got 7.5 minutes left in this race yet. And if that weather is coming, I don't know if these drivers are going to get this race done in time or not, but it is Tro and Kobe battling with Type R here in 11th place as well, and we got battles, as I stated, all up and down this racetrack by the end of this race, and right from first place right down to the back of our field here right now. So another great GR2 series here race from the Gran Turismo racing community, and boy, this has potentially been one of the best championship seasons in my very long-standing time here with the GTRC. It has been a doozy this season. I have really enjoyed this season. His Team Rad's Petrolhead here, though, in the race lead, and boy, this is a fight between him and Soupy Mark. This has been a race-long battle between these two all day long. And right now this is a more of a controlled situation battle. There is definitely strategy at play here with only 6 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. You can't make that big battling mistake here now because you don't have the time to make up for it. It has to be clean, it has to be precise, and it has to be very, very exact. So it is Hairraiser still in third with Mike 1972 in fourth. We got Tap and Bar 27 very close together here in fifth and sixth place. Literally, we have battles almost in every spot of the racetrack at this moment. Oh, and Happy Pappy's getting it all kinds of wrong on a Beauchamp. He is fishtailing hard, manages to keep control of his car and not take anybody out. That was a beautiful save right there from Happy Pappy. We gotta go see that again, chat. That was a doozy. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Dialful Racing and Happy Pappy coming up into Beauchamp, and then just as they went to hit the apex again, just a little bit of contact there between the two. Pappy got sent out really wide there into the curbing, and man, what a save right there by Happy Pappy as he got the old triple tank slapper rolling there, and he managed to reel that thing back in and keep that thing moving forward. Whew, what a save by Happy Pappy. He wheeled that car, boy, let me tell you what. And oh boy, here we go. Subi Mark made his way around Petrolhead, makes the mistake in the pool and goes wide, keeps the car somehow still halfway in the right direction on the racetrack, but now that's allowed Petrolhead to squeeze back in for the battle through campus here, and Subi Mark barely defending first place from Petrolhead there as we enter in towards the Paul Frere curve. So boy, oh boy, battle on, and we still got 5 minutes and 20 seconds. What a doozy of a battle for the race lead here today by Subi Mark and Petrolhead, and this is going to be a race that these drivers I think are going to be talking about for some time to come here, no matter what happens at the end of this race at this point. This has been a 55-minute long battle between these two drivers, and this will be a battle right down to the checkered flag from these two drivers without a question of a doubt, and it is hard racing here right now between these two. A little over under there from Petrolhead. He's going to try and cut back coming out of the chicane there. That was a beautiful setup, but can he get it done? No, he cannot, and that was it. It would have been a win there for Mark. He almost had the response, and this could be a little bit of testing there for these drivers as well. They could be trying to feel each other out into certain corners here to see where they can get a pass done in an unusual spot, and I'm not sure what happened there. Mark went wide, but Petrol checked up there, so maybe in Petrol's point of view, he made a little bit of contact, and again, the net coating is playing a factor into this battle, unfortunately, between the two drivers here today, but that was a weird situation, and that's almost what it looked like there. It looked like Petrol had apparently tapped Mark, it kind of seemed like, even though on our screen that's not what we saw at all. So he just checked up to make sure he didn't take the position. We've seen that from Mark a couple of times throughout this battle as well between him and Petrolhead. I mean, this is a battle for third and fourth, but I mean, I don't even know. We need more screens, chat. We need more screens. We need to have like 3 battles on the go at one time here. We need more camera views. We can make that happen. We've got 1010 Subi Mark here in first place. We got Petrolhead here in the second position. We do have enough equipment to give 2 POVs on a live stream. We just don't have enough capture cards to do it right at the moment, but we definitely have the means to do it. We've got Hairraiser here in third place with Mike 1972 in fourth place. Let me know in the comments below. What would you guys think about having a second little box on a live stream up in the corner, say following the race leader or a good battle, as secondary to what is on the main screen? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Something we could add in the future. We got Tap here in 5th place. We got Doug Burrow closing in here in 6th. So Doug is on a charge here. Holy moly, and Doug absolutely motors around Tap there. And I'm not sure what that is about there. It was Tap, maybe it's... Oh, Tap has some damage here. So Tap got in a little bit of trouble on the racetrack here, and I think he was just coming back on the racetrack there when we seen Doug go by, and Doug was behind Bar as well. So I kind of wonder if there wasn't maybe a potential incident between the two, between Par and Tap when they were maybe battling for position there, and that would explain why Doug had closed up that gap and now ahead of both those drivers. Just speculation, however, but it is a Subi Mark here, and a little bit of a mistake made by Petrolhead in that last lap. There's actually gained a gap here for Mark. It's about 1.1 seconds, but we still have, well, 2 to go essentially here as the race leaders come around the source. We got Hairraiser and Mike 1972 here, still very close together in 3rd and 4th place. And again, Mike 1972 just being cool, calm, collected here. He doesn't really ever force the issue. He makes smart decisions here, and you can see he does it again here. A nice calculated pass heading up Rouge already on, but now he's going to find himself on the defensive end of that pass here as we head up to Kennel Straight. Hair Razor's going to have the slipstream here, and he's going to be able to pull out and try to get a pass done, but Mike 1972 is no dummy. He's going to make Hair Razor do it on the outside. However, with that being said, if Hair Razor can hang it in on the outside there, he would have had the inside track coming into the second part of the chicane there. Possibly could have got that pass done, but then again, Mike 1972 would have had the inside there exiting the sector, heading into Brussels, potentially held in position. So maybe a smarter decision there not to lose so much time from Hair Razor. But Mike 1972 does take that podium position away here very late in the race, and Hair Razor now trying to get it back. So it is Subimark in the race lead, is Petrolhead here in second place, Mike 1972 here in third, with Hair Razor in fourth. It's Doug Barrow here in fifth place, and Bar 27 just getting the job done here on Tap as well. So Tap going to look to respond here. Oh, big slide right there from Tap, and he's going to do a couple of 360s, and he is going to get that car moving in the right direction. Great job there from Tap. Whew, tense moments. We got to see that again. That was a great. That was great there. So, a little bit of contact there between the two drivers as they're going around there as well. But obviously that's not what caused Tap there to... He just got a little too happy on the throttle there and snapped that car around. And we're going to give him 6.5 on the style points there for sure for the recovery on that spin, because he didn't lose a whole lot of time there. He kept that car out of the wall and he kept it moving in the forward direction there after that beautiful race pace 360 there. So here we go. Subi Mark, final lap here for our race leader. Team Raz Petrolhead coming through is going to be the final lap here for him as well. Mike 1972 and Hair Razor are going to come around and get one more to go here as well. They're going to see that white flag. Doug Burrow will also see the white flag here as he comes around, and he has plenty of fuel in his car here, I've noticed as well. Bar 27 is also going to see a white flag here as he comes across the start finish line, and he's just going to be a buzzer beater here as he comes around, and Tap should take checkered flag here, I believe, as he comes around, and it will be a 7th place finish there for Tap here on the track today. That was a good race there for Tap. Alright, so we've got Supra here. He's currently sitting in 8th place, and it's a mid-pack finish there for Supra in that Audi, so it was a good race there for him. And we got a battle here between Diaful and Type R for 9th and 10th place. And are we going to see the over-under here from Type R? Can he get the power down? Diaful loses it a little bit, and Type R is going to get the job done on the final corner. A mistake made there by Diaful Racing is going to cost him that position at the checkered flag. There is going to be 10th place for him. Happy Pappy's going to bring it home here in 11th position, and it is going to be Tron Kobe here to round out our field in 12th place. And he is out of racing petrol here as he's going to coast that thing across the start finish line in 12th place. So it is Subi Market. He's got 2-second gap here right now over Team Rad's petrol head here. So just needs to keep it nice and tight here around the last couple sectors of the racetrack, not allow Petrolhead to close any time, and don't make the mistake at this point. Petrolhead there's a little bit of a wiggle, but now Mike 1972 kind of closing in here a little bit on Petrolhead as well. So, ooh, what is going to shake down here before we get to the end of this race? We are running out of racetrack here, however, though. With that being said, as we head into the Paul Frere curve here with our race leader, he's got 4.2 seconds now on the pack. So he's just got to bring it home here at this point. He's got 3 more corners to go. Blow Shimon right there with the little kink, and then the 2 chicanes and a checkered flag here for 10-10 Subi Mark. And this potentially is enough for him to lock down this championship here before we head into our finale at the NERB 24-hour in 2 weeks' time. Congratulations, Subi Mark, for a very hard-fought race win here. Petrolhead's just going to hold the charge off here in second. It's going to be Mike 1972 in third, as Hair Razor very close behind in 4th place there. Very close finishes again for the podiums here today. It's going to be Doug Burrow here in 5th place. Not the best race for him, and I'm sure that he feels here today, but a good recovery for him here today to get back up into 5th place. And Bar 27 going to be the last driver to take checkered flag here in 6th place today. Great job by him as well. Whew, and there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour at Spa. And Subi Mark may very well have just done enough there to secure his championship, first ever GTRC championship here in round number 8. But without the standings sitting in front of me, I can't actually verify. We do not have the standings here today in front of us. They are not ready for us here yet. So I can only speculate about where everything's sitting. So it is Subi Mark with the race win, pole position, and fastest lap. He's going to get the trifecta here today. It's going to be Team Rad's Petrolhead in second, Mike 1972 in third, Hairraiser in fourth, Doug Burrow in fifth, Bar 27 in sixth, Tap in seventh. It's going to be Supra in eighth. It's going to be Type R here in ninth position, pardon me. Dialful Racing in 10th, Happy Pappy in 11th, and Tron Kobe rounding out our field here today. And just Tron not having his best race here today, but it happens. It most certainly happens. I'll share that out, Maddie. Remind me after if you want some photos from it. Alright, so we're going to go jump into Discord. And we're going to go get prepared for some podium interviews here. So just bear with as we got to load all this juicy stuff up. Close this tab, close that tab, open this tab. Tabs everywhere. All right. There we have it. Whew. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a race that was. 1 hour here at Spa from the Gran Turismo racing community in this Group 2 series. This was round 8 of 9 at Spa, and what a battle it was all race long. Petrolhead, Subi Mark battling basically for about 60 to 61 minutes of a race here, and great battles all up and down the racetrack, pretty much all race long again. This Group 2 series has really been a spectacular series. It has really provided for some good, tight, hard racing from our racers, and there were some tough lobby conditions here today. We definitely had a couple drivers that were having some lag issues on the racetrack as well, and that definitely made for a little more of an interesting race in some aspects. The weather did hold back here today as well for our drivers, so it did look like with about 7-8 minutes remaining in the track there, the clouds got really gray. They really started to be low and overhanging, so it was getting interesting. It was getting interesting for sure. But we do have a race leader here with us, right? A race winner, pardon me, here with us right now. So we're just going to give it a. Actually, we'll start talking with him right now because it is late where he is at over in the UK. So let's get some stuff going on here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we do have 2 of our 3 podium finishers here with us. And so we got Mike there as well. And we got Petrol there as well. All right, so we're going to start with Mike 1972 here, and he was our 3rd place finisher. And out of all the scrapping and all the racing that we've seen here today, he was definitely more of the calm, calculated, strategic racer out of the group here up front today. He stayed cool, he stayed calm, he was working with competitors just to try and close gaps up, and really took opportunity of openings and mistakes made by the drivers in front as opposed to hard battling like we've seen from our eventual race winners here today. And he was very well rewarded there with a 3rd place finish very at the end of the race, just overtaking Hairraiser with a great pass there. So congratulations on a very strategic race, in my opinion, and very well rewarded with a 3rd place finish here today. It was a spicy one out there. Talk us through your day today.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, it was a good race. As you just mentioned, it was strategic. I wasn't wanting to pass Razor till try the last lap, but he made that little mistake second to last lap. So I felt like if I went for it, I mean, there's no harm in being in front, really, but it seemed to work out. Yeah, so it's quite good. Yeah, it was quite a hard battle with Razor, so that's what I needed to finish in front of him to close the gap back up to the 3rd position in the standings. So did what I wanted. So pleased with that.
Absolutely, and you know, I don't think there was a moment throughout the race here today where we really seen you panic. You didn't, like I said, cool, calm, collected behind the wheel of that race car here today. Was that kind of your game plan, I guess, coming into the race here today? Just take it one lap at a time and try not to force a mistake out of yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that was it. And yeah, a quite good pace on the medium tires, but the hard tire surprised me a little the night practice. It seemed better, but for some reason I didn't really click with it the night, the hard tire. But it was only for the 5 laps, so it wasn't a lot of time lost, I don't think. But yeah, it was a good race.
Absolutely. And I mean, notable mention to Hair Razor as well here today, just finishing behind in fourth place there. Much of the same style race from him as well. He was pretty cool, calm, collected on the racetrack. He didn't really try to force any battles there as well. And even when you two were together, it was much of the same thing between the two of you as well there. If one made a mistake or left the opening, then the other took advantage of it. But overall, pretty good race for between yourself and Hair Razor. But you were also there with Tap there for quite some time, and you and Tap were
Yeah,
basically glued together for about 2/3 of the race there, and worked really well
yeah.
together there. So, did you feel if you guys would have been able to stay together all race, there, you might have been able to push up to the higher steps on the podium?
Yes. I think at the end there, Mark was fuel saving, and I think I can't remember the name of the corner, but it's a right hander. I made a little mistake and I got the left tires onto the just off the edge of the curb, and I was getting a good run on him, so it could have been interesting into the hairpin, the final hairpin, if it wasn't for that little mistake I made. But yeah, a good job. Razor did a good job as well, especially since after the pit stops. I think he was a good 7, 8, 9 seconds behind, and he seemed to manage to make that time up very well. So good race by all, Steve included.
Absolutely, and
Yeah,
you were one of the very few that didn't have the hard battles on the racetrack here today. Your car may not even have any scratches on it here today because you were a lot more
yeah.
calculated with your racing here today. So I guess with that being said, any final remarks on your race here today? What's your goal heading into our finale next race? And shout outs to the viewers watching at home.
Yeah, shout out yourself for a great commentary, and a shout out the guys for organising the race. And really looking forward to the Nürburgring. It's going to be interesting. Being an hour and a half is going to be a tiring start a race, but it's going to be a lot of fun, I imagine. So can't wait for it.
Absolutely, and I feel like a lot of the racers probably wanted to get a lot of the hard work done here at Spa this weekend before heading to Germany to the Nordschleife, just due to the nature of the difficulty of that racetrack. So I guess my final question for you tonight here is, how are you going to prepare yourself for the Nordschleife?
Ooh, a lot of practice, I think. A lot of practice, especially on the hard tire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I think it's going to be a great finale with this great classic car. I really feel like the Group Two cars are an underrated classic car, unfortunately, in Gran Turismo Seven. And I really would like to thank all of the drivers each week that have come out, because I think that you guys have really showcased, displayed at how good these Group 2 cars could really race beside each other this season. So, congratulations on an absolutely spectacular third place finish here today, right down to the checkered flag again, as always, out of these Group 2 racers. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the Nordschleife in 2 weeks' time. But fantastic racing as always, and we can't wait to see what you're going to get to bring to us in Germany.
Okie dokie. We will catch you later. Thanks very much, Tim.
Cheers, brother. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit up. We're trying to get through these as fairly quick because these are all UK drivers here, so we just don't want to keep them too late here today. So let's go and jump to Petrolhead here. He was our second place racer. This guy absolutely fought tooth and nail for the race lead all race long. We had 6 different race leaders throughout this race, and we probably had about I don't know, 12 or 15 lead changes here because it was so spicy up front today, and that spiciness comes from our last two drivers here in the booth, Petrolhead and Soupy Mark. These two are actively chasing that championship battle down as well, and everything mattered here today, and you can see it with the battle that these two had on track. I mean, what else can we say? You guys absolutely just put on a show for 62 minutes here today. I don't even know where to start. Talk us through your race.
Um, Basically, I'm still coming down from the high, to be honest. It was good fun. I don't think I've had that much fun in a race in a while. Props to Mark. He got me at the end with my error towards the end of that battle. I think racing that hard, that long, one of us was going to make a mistake, and unfortunately, it was me. Sorry to him for nerving him off there, but I honestly I thought he would run away with it, and then he made 2 mistakes, which put me in the lead. At which point, it was the entire from that point on, it was just be consistent, run laps, don't push too hard because that's when you start making mistakes. Just minimize the time loss to Mark. And then at the point at which Mark caught me, it was use the Nissan straight line speed. I think every single time he came up behind me and it was into turn 1, I let him through and then out dragged him into Lacombe because I just had that straight line speed. It was a literal case of best defense is offense, with racing Mark, to be honest. But yeah, it was good fun. I had a grand old time, and whew, I think I've lost the championship, but I had fun losing the championship. If that makes sense.
It does make sense, you know. We definitely know that. I mean, we're here to compete. We're here to win championships. We're here to try and do the best we can in league event racing, like we're doing here at the Gran Turismo racing community this season. But you know, I can't help but feel that this GR2 series has kind of brought a different kind of buzz, a different kind of vibe to not only the championships here, but the community as well. This has been a really fantastic series, in my opinion, all season long. You guys have provided such amazing racing, and it just got showcased even tenfold here again today with a crazy battle you guys had all race long. But it just, again, goes to show, and I'm going to touch on again, how good these cars race against each other when you keep those cars. But the advantages and disadvantages of each car is what makes it fun and keeps it close. And we did touch on that while you guys were battling at one point in the broadcast, you know, where you're trying to utilize that missile straight line speed of the GTR, like you were just talking about, and how Mark has that advantage of that absolute, just like a ballerina through the corners with that NSX to close the gaps back up on you. So when you have those two factors in play, it really makes for good, tight, close racing. Your strategies were very similar, and we're going to actually touch on that real quick. You guys, going into your final pit stop, Subi Mark actually makes a move on you into the final chicane to beat you into pit lane, and you guys pit, and you actually beat him out the same distance he went in front of you. What do you think that difference was? It seems to be about 2 or 3 liters of fuel, probably.
Yeah, it was just fuel. To be perfectly honest, when he sent it down my inside, I was kind of hoping he would go for another lap. Because the idea was I would hopefully undercut him. But then he jumped into the pits in front of me, and I'm just like, well, this is unideal. But I think naturally the Honda has a slightly smaller fuel tank, which it's like in the 2-stop, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But if it's a solid 1-stop strategy, it comes into play quite heavily. But I think on a 2-stop, the fact that the Honda has a slightly smaller fuel tank doesn't really come into play that much unless you're trying to do the 1-stop. I'm not sure if anyone did the 1-stop in the field. Did anyone do a 1-stop?
I
don't think
I
so.
think Trone may have tried one.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think overall the Lexus and the Nissan have a slightly bigger fuel tank, so we can, on average, do an extra lap compared to the Honda. But yeah, I think I also had saved a lap in hand going into the pits. I had a lap extra. I could have gone round for another lap when I boxed for that second time. So I think that also helped come out in front of, and just less fuel to put in as well.
Absolutely. Well, nonetheless, the strategy play and the pace of you two up front was just absolutely incredible, and like I said, provided for an absolutely great racing show all race long. You guys really did steal the show here today. It was really fun to watch, and just the skill skill that you two display on the racetrack as well as and etiquette on the racetrack is just is top level as well. So to see that kind of hard racing for a whole race long like that, and your cars are both still in one piece in the paddock and in tech currently right now to go through the process to secure your positions. I mean, that speaks volumes as well. So congratulations on an absolutely crazy race here today. And I guess final remarks on the race here today, and shout outs to the viewers watching at home.
Congratulations to Mike and Razor. I saw bits of their battle while focusing on Mark. I'll have to watch the stream back and see their battle. Congratulations to Mark. That was great fun. We need to do a little bit more of that, please and thank you. Stop running away at the front. I would like to shout out, on a more serious and more somber note. I know Supra lost someone dear to him, and me myself, I've also lost a good friend of mine, both to cancer, and I do hope that the both of them up there witness our battle, witness the racing today, and had a smile. I wanted to win and dedicate the win to him, to my mate at least, but I couldn't quite get there at the end. But Will, if you're up there, miss you, buddy. Miss your jokes. And as always, thanks to Team Rad. Thanks to Motorsport 101. They're good guys over there. And as always, my bread and butter. It takes nothing to be nice. You never know when someone you know is gonna go.
Absolutely, and we are sorry for your loss as well. And of course, Supra is the other driver that we're talking about there. He lost his father due to the fight last week, which we've seen in our Audi TT Cup series with a lap of honor from the community. So, with that being said, you are not wrong. You know that they're up there, and you know that they're in spirit and in the heart of the drivers as well. But you know that he enjoyed every second of that fight, whether you won or lost tonight, Petrol, and I'm sure that he has got a smile from ear to ear as you fought very hard today for that second place.
Yeah, I'm gonna go because I'm welling up a little bit.
You betcha, brother. I feel it. It's all good.
Yeah, in a bit.
All right, cheers, brother. We'll let you get back and celebrate and also remember at the same time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tough moments from our racers. So, the racers, they carry a lot more than just a competition sometimes with them when they're on the racetrack. Sometimes they're carrying a burden, or sometimes they're carrying some heavy emotional flow. So we never know what our racers are dealing with from one round to the next. And huge shout out to our racers that have lost loved ones recently, because it makes it a lot more difficult to stay focused on the racetrack. And congratulations to these guys for continuing to come out and just keep doing what they love to do, because I'm sure that their loved ones would like to see them continue to do what they love to do. So with that being said, let's go hit our race winner, and I believe unofficially now our GR2 series champion here as well. I believe he's done enough here today to secure enough of a points lead where he can he just has to be there and finish the race in our finale at Nürburgring. So 10-10 Subi Mark, ladies and gentlemen, our eventual race winner here today. It was really up in the air right down to the final about 2 minutes of this race here. Congratulations. Absolutely hard fought win again here this season, but probably the hardest fought win here for you this season. And this one mean a little bit more than the rest of the season?
That one, especially, that race was hard. There was a slight bit of issue with Petrol's connection in front, which put me off the track a few times, but managed to collect it, and I knew that was an issue at that point, so I stayed behind him. I tried everything to get past him and to break that toe. Didn't work, kept out dragging me. So I then decided I'm not playing this game anymore. I got behind him again, and I tried forcing a mistake instead.
Absolutely, and we did see there were a couple of moments on the track there where we've seen some just some big lag spikes and the car doing some Things that you just don't see cars do in real life. And we definitely knew that there were some tough racing conditions going on between the two drivers here today. And the moment he was talking about, actually, they're heading into La Source there, where he apparently got into the back. You, on our point of view, he was a good solid 3 or 4 car lengths in behind you. So, but we did suspect that's what happened just based off the reaction to Petrol. Obviously, he led up and made sure that you got back on track in front, and you guys continued on your battle. But with all that aside, it still provided for an absolutely fantastic race all race long out of you guys. I mean, it deterred you to change your strategy a little bit by the end of the race, but I mean, it did not seem to stop your desire to want to lock down this championship here today. So, I mean, talk us through your race today, because it was an eventful one.
So I'd worked out that I had to worry a little bit about fuel, but because I didn't want to overfuel and make the car really slow. So I worked out that I could get my fuel bang on, so I am at my fastest. And turns out the wind speeds didn't really come into my favour. That actually put me off quite a few times when it got to like 6, and it pushed me off the track. I had lots of understeer from that one, so I had to collect myself. And then I got frustrated because it kept falling off. So I had to just take a deep breath, and then I collected myself, carried on. But the main goal was I was actually doing the 13-lap pit stop to hopefully pit 1 lap later than Petrol. I thought they might have gone in at 12 laps, but turned out we all went in at the same time.
And I'm going to throw the same question at you, actually. You guys come into that second pit stop, and you make a pass on him going into the chicane, going into the pit stop, literally just ahead of him. And then he comes out of pit lane, the exact same distance, just ahead of you. What was going through your mind at that point in time in the race? What was it, about 14, 15 minutes left?
Well, I came in a bit hot on the brakes to begin with, and I noticed he had slowed right down. So I thought, okay, he's going into the pits here. So I immediately went for the move, and I thought my idea was go into pits, try and get out before him. But at the same time, when he came out when we went into the pits, I realised he had a lot more fuel than me, so I knew I wasn't going to get out. So I overfueled by about 0.5 or 1 extra lap, so I could push really hard on my final stint and just carry on. So slight adjustment.
Absolutely, and I mean there was a moment there in the race. I mean, we've seen this a couple times out of the race leaders, which we had several of here today at points in time in the race with pit stops and just great battling on the racetrack. But Dugborough was in the race lead early on. He made a little mistake, got into the grass. I pulled him off track, and unfortunately for Dugborough, that dropped him right down to the back of the pack. Obviously, early race, he had to let everybody get through. And then we've seen you do much of the same thing coming through the 90, heading into Pouon there. Just make a little mistake on the curb there and got yourself out of sorts, and that allowed Petrolhead really to kind of close that gap that you were starting to kind of open up at the midpoint of the race there. Was that kind of a potential defining moment between the two of you there on the racetrack today?
Yeah, that was devastating for me because I just found my pace again, and then I just brake a tiny bit too late, and then just clipped that green, and then I was like, right, I'm stuck here now. I have to let off. I have to I have to go down gears to try and get it back on. Otherwise, I know I'm going to spin. So then I saw him come up behind me. I was like, right, now, defend. Don't let him pass. Defend. But trying to keep in front of something that will outrun you in a straight line, not as easy.
Absolutely, and I mean, obviously that was a big contribution to a lot of the battles between the two of you specifically here today. Was we'd see you get a good move and a good run out of a sector, get ahead of Petrolhead, and then that sets up for one of those very long runs here at Spa, and you would just see Petrolhead by the end of that run get the position, get back up, and battle back on, and then you are again with your little ballerina there through the corners, trying to get the move back done. And I mean, really, honestly, it provided some great racing all race long. It provided some great action for the viewers at home for sure, without a question of a doubt today. And even though you guys were in extremely difficult racing conditions, this still made for absolutely fantastic, very skillful racing between the two of you as well. So, I mean, congratulations on that. And I think you probably know a little bit better than I do, because I do not have current standings in front of me right now from last round. But is that enough to lock down your championship here now before we head into finale night?
Yeah, Nürburgring's a nice Sunday cruise now.
And that's not necessarily the worst of things here for our racers that are still battling for overall positions in the grid, because Nürburgring 24-hour, the Nordschleife, pardon me, is going to be a test to all the racers. It is one of the most difficult racetracks in the world. This particular layout, if I'm not mistaken, has 97 corners, ladies and gentlemen. So it is going to be a doozy. And I don't know, I love watching races on the Nürb. I love racing on the Nürburgring. So, ladies and gentlemen watching at home, or if you're watching this back later, tell everybody what's happening here in 2 weeks' time, because we are going 90 minutes at the Nordschleife for our finale here at the Group 2 series from GTRC. But yeah, you know, we speculated at the beginning of the broadcast that today was going to be the day that we were going to see the drivers really kind of take the chances, because even though this is a very technical, difficult racetrack, you guys were on here today with Spa. You guys are heading to an even more difficult racetrack again, like I was just saying, for our finale. So was that kind of what was in the back of your mind heading into round 8 here too? You know, if I'm going to make this happen, it needs to be at Spa before we head to Germany.
Yes, that's why as soon as they all passed me at the beginning, I just took the gloves off and I was like, right, no, we're not doing this. I'm going for it. I need to win this. I'm just going to do it. So I was just had battle. I didn't care if I lost time, as long as I was up front, ahead, and was trying to win. That was it, because Nürburgring for me is painful. I'm still going to have fun on that track, but it's painful.
And it's definitely going to be a race versus a track, I think, more than against each other here in 2 weeks' time at the Nordschleife. But I mean, great racing from you here today. Congratulations on another strong win here today. It was definitely probably one of the hardest earned wins here from 10/10 Mark this season in the Group 2 series, and it was definitely good enough to lock down his first championship ever here at the GTRC. So congratulations on that unofficially until we have those results in. And overall happy with how the season has gone up to this point.
Yeah, very happy, very happy. It's been great fun. It's been really fun battling, especially this one's been the best one for me. Battling all race long with just one person. Oh, I couldn't ask for anything better.
Absolutely, and you two have been very competitive all season long as well, so definitely a great way to cap off the second last round of the season, and we still got one more. We got the Nordschleife here, ladies and gentlemen, in 2 weeks' time, and these drivers they're still gonna send it, and they're still gonna push, and they're still gonna race, and they're still gonna try and gain as many points as they can, because there's still less spots up for grabs here outside of that top spot on the podium now, leading into the Nordschleife. But with that being said, I mean, congratulations on a well-fought season, a well-fought win here today, and any final remarks on your race here today, and shout outs to the viewers watching at home.
Yep, shout out to everyone watching and the TT community. It's been a great community, yourself for streaming, and everyone in GTRC racing on track. Lovely, brilliant. Have so much fun, and same again as Petrol said. Unfortunately, people have lost some people, so shout out to them. I hope they're all doing great, given the circumstances.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, it's just nice to see that the drivers are out on track and they're still doing what they love to do, and I think that gives a little bit of motivation for our racers too. That gives them a little bit of extra fire in their belly and behind the race car when we're going through things like that. So, the community is most certainly thinking about Supra and Petrolhead as they deal with the loss of loved ones. And again, due to cancer, unfortunately, we will be seeing some fundraising coming here very soon, obviously for cancer research here in the community. It's about that time of year for us here anyways. And in light of that, of course, we want to show support to our family members here within the community the best we can as well. So stay tuned for more than that from the Gran Turismo racing community. We have our Audi TT Cup Series next weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to be finale here next weekend as well. But congratulations on a great race win here today. We're going to let you head back to that 10/10 paddock, go celebrate with that great team there, and wait for those official results to see if we've got ourselves a new GTRC champion here this season as well, ladies and gentlemen. Great racing here today.
Have a great day, buddy.
Cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the Nordschleife in 2 weeks' time, but we have Audi TT Cup racing next weekend right here at GT45 Gaming and the GTRC YouTube channel, and that will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It is our final rendezvous with those beautiful beautiful Audi TT Cup cars, and we will crown our Audi TT Cup champion, and that championship is most certainly still up for grabs leading into next weekend, so we hope to see you all there. Our GR2 series will take us into Germany for a 90 minutes endurance to finish off the season with these Group 2 cars. We are going to send off the GR2 series with an absolute banger on the Nordschleife. It's going to be fun. The championship, I believe, is locked down here now from 10-10 to be marked, but second, third, fourth, fifth place, and all the way through the grid is still all up for grabs here on our finale night. So we can't wait to see you in 2 weeks' time at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as well here on GT45 Gaming and the GTRC YouTube channel. We appreciate you all. On behalf of the Gran Turismo racing community, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, watching, commenting, liking, and sharing the streams today. Thank you for all the support, all the good vibes, and the prayers to our community members that are down and out right now with the losses of their loved ones. We all know it hits home when we hear the C word come out and people losing that battle with it. And we just got to keep doing what we can to try and help and support those that are dealing with that or have family members that are dealing with that fight in that battle. And we got to continue to try and help support the organizations that are helping support the families going through these tough times as well. So more to come from the GTRC and GT45 Gaming as far as some charity fundraising goes here in the near future. But in the meantime, we got 2 championships to lock up here over the next 2 weeks. And next weekend is our Audi TT Cup Series. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us here today. Hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. And make sure to like and share this bad boy out once for us. This was a beautiful race. All 8 races this season from the Group 2s have been top-notch. Absolutely great class of racing car here in Gran Turismo 7. Definitely overshadowed. And I'm great to see all the racers on track having fun and having some good, hard elbows out. Fair racing here this season. It has provided a great season, a new champion here at GTRC, and a whole lot more action to come in over the next 2 weeks' time. So thank you very much. Remember, you all matter. Stay winning, and we'll catch you all in the next one.